right, welcome. This is Chief.
I'm Tatanka.
And we are the Chief and Tatanka Show.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for like a year.
We have been talking about this for a year.
Maybe joking about it's better.
We have been joking about this for a year. Okay, so I don't know, for this introduction, should we maybe share some of that thought process or some of the conversations there? Or
we could do that, although I don't know that there was a lot of thought in the process. It's just kind of a thing.
Right.
Somebody was like, hey, you guys talk about retarded stuff. You should record it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yep. No, I agree with you. I think, we're just kind of sitting around, we're kind of talking, and I don't remember which wild group of friends it was.
It was at Devil's Tower.
It was Devil's
Tower. We were sitting at the picnic table at the Devil's Tower campground.
Very nice.
We were talking about our other project.
Okay.
And then somewhere along the way, somebody was like, you guys should do a podcast. And we were like, yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy to think about. Yeah. So, and really, Tatanka and I sitting down talking about this, I mean, we did want to find a way to kind of, reach out to other veterans. We're both veterans. I served in the Navy for 13 years.
I was in the Army for 6 years.
Yeah. And so many of our conversations, I feel like, are attached to that.
It's a theme.
It is a theme. I wouldn't say it's the all-encompassing theme.
No.
I think for me and a lot of the conversations and kind of where I see this journey or this podcast going is centered on being a veteran and, the different aspects of veteran life, some of the things that we deal with as veterans,
That non-veterans or even first responders, for that matter, don't grasp or understand the things that veterans and first responders go through. I'm going to add first responders on there just because of our other project, but there's things that veterans deal with that somebody that's gone to college and worked an office job doesn't get, and they can't get.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And, and I guess for me, and this kind of segues for me into another reason why I wanted to do this podcast, and that was, as a group of people in society, I do feel like we are underrepresented in many different ways.
Fair.
Not just politics, but just way of life and things that we have to deal with and things of that nature. And so, if anything, I think, this podcast maybe will help other people kind of see and understand things maybe from our perspective.
I think definitely, like we were talking about the other day, that a lot of people will pigeonhole veterans into right-wing politics only. And you and I both know that that's very much not the case, where, like you were saying, I want to sit on my porch and smoke weed and shoot my guns all at the same time.
Right.
And be left alone about it.
Yeah. No, I think that is a very important aspect to all this too is, this show, like, I don't want us to, like, just take one stance on one particular thing, and I know there's some other content creators, maybe that are veteran hosted or have veterans and it's veteran themed, and there is quite a bit of, like, things that they point out about society, and there's things they point out about politics and things like that, and that's fine, and my hat's off to those guys for being kind of courageous to step up and take some of those bold stances. But to me, this is not what this podcast is for, and at least that's not how I see it.
We're going to be a lot more lighthearted, and we like to laugh at things and make stupid jokes, and we'll probably offend everyone at some point.
Yeah,
I think if we don't offend them, it's a problem.
Right. No, I think that could be like a gauge of, like, oh, okay, so
are we doing well? Are
you
offended?
We offended somebody? Yeah. Oh, okay, we must be doing the right shit then. Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds cool. So, I feel like we've kind of given, whoever might be checking this out and watching this, at least a little bit of an idea of what we're kind of shooting for.
It's a fair gauge.
Yeah, and then
we'll talk about veteran things. We'll talk about history things. We'll talk about comedians. We'll talk about movies. We'll talk about nothing.
Can we talk about jujitsu?
I mean, you can. I'll just sit here and listen like I know what I'm talking about.
Can we take videos like drilling jujitsu?
You just want me to throw you, don't you?
I want you to be in my closed guard. Anyway, okay, so jujitsu, motorcycles, like we said, let's see, comedians, movies, maybe some video games.
Yep.
Definitely talk about some video games.
We'll hit some serious topics too. Both Chief and I are on the board of a fairly new nonprofit that trying to build ourselves.
Yeah.
That deals with veteran and first responder mental health, with PTSD and moral injury. So we'll talk about serious topics, but mostly we're just here to goof.
Yeah. I like it. Okay.
And my Dr. Evil dog.
Yeah, our Dr. Evil dog. Yeah, that's Buster. Because he's 5 pounds and literally busts nothing.
Busts nothing.
We'll probably drink a lot of Liquid Death, I'm assuming, on this show too.
So start on a official sponsor, bro.
I love it.
If you work for Liquid Death and you see this, we enjoy.
We enjoy. We would love to promote your product. Yep, Liquid Death. Here it is. Death. So, if I can just take a second, I know this is an intro, and maybe I shouldn't be professing my love to this company in the intro, but I'm gonna be honest. These guys, they keep me good to go. While I'm motorcycling, on our trips that we go on, we went to a couple events. Maybe not not Double Stone last year, but I think 2 years ago. They were maybe sponsored by Liquid Death.
And they had 1,000 cases of every flavor.
There was so much
Liquid Death everywhere.
I've seen so much Liquid Death in my fucking life. It was insane. But and I'll tell you, they were like rodeo warm too. But I didn't give a shit. It was so hot.
Doesn't matter if you ride across the Wyoming desert and it's 102 degrees outside. It doesn't matter how cold
it was. So hot. Yeah. Well, okay. So we definitely. I know we plan on having an episode maybe specifically for Devilstone. But that is
or 2 or 3.
Yeah. Okay. So at least a handful or a few, not one or a couple even. Yeah. So we definitely should cover some of that. Mm-hmm. And then I know we talked maybe even calling Brady or having him on.
I want to talk to Brady. I want to talk to Thomas. Who's the Freedom Jiu-Jitsu guy? I know you like Jeremy. Jeremy Merrick.
Yep.
Okay. From New Jersey. He's a Jersey guy. Also a U.S. Marine.
Nice.
So,
yeah, and Devilstone that we're talking about is it's a 4-day run basically through Wyoming, and when I say run, it's on motorcycles, and anywhere from 200 300 people depending on the year show up.
Depending on the year.
Ride motorcycles through the Wild West, and hang out, and really it's just a great time to bond, and
it's a quality hang.
It is a quality hang. There's a lot of people that have served. There's a lot of veterans that are in that group. There's a lot of content creators.
Because one of my favorite things about the Devilstone Run is it's no one thing.
Right.
It's no one group. It's no one it's all the hippies and all the hipsters. And
right.
It's not all the leathered out Harley bros. It's everybody.
I mean, to be fair, there are some of those.
There's a couple Harley bros.
Right. But also, to be fair, I'm one of those guys too, right? Well, not like it.
I'm like a medium Harley bro. I wear my leather, but also
yeah. Like if it's too hot, I'm not doing it. Like I'm not that committed.
Not that hard.
Yeah. So that'll be cool. So we'll definitely talk about that, and then we talked about having some guests. Okay, so. Let's do this for a second. If you could pick any veteran guest to have on this show, who would you pick? Any veteran guest.
My first inclination is Mad Dog. Mad Dog Mattis.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That would be pretty awesome.
Also, close second, pick any Medal of Honor.
Okay. I like that.
Third, President Theodore Roosevelt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are very solid picks. I feel like you picked Teddy Roosevelt, though, just because you want to see him walk around with the big cane on this podcast.
There's many reasons there. Possibly one of which being I want to see if he'd wrestle me.
Man. I feel like he would.
Well, I'm sure he would.
Yeah, I do.
He wasn't scared of a whole lot.
No.
Kind of sad though, when his wife and one of his kids passed away, he was basically done. I feel like it was a sad ending to probably one of our greatest presidents, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think about all the different, history classes I've taken, from like when I remember in elementary school all the way to even taking college classes as an adult, it seems like there's always some small section or some, piece of history maybe I didn't know about him before,
There's so much history that just nobody knows because it's not talked about.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's like an epidemic.
Right. No,
it's shit not being taught.
Right.
It's important. But
yeah.
We'll dig into it.
Yeah.
I have no doubt we will dig into it.
Yeah, so what are you thinking? Maybe like, we do a podcast every so often. Maybe have some like guest podcasts, regular series podcasts, and then maybe like do some like separate history
we could
podcasts.
Okay. We could do that. We could do the jujitsu. I can't even say the word, man.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to wrestle if I can't even say the name?
Listen, there's a lot of vowels in it.
BJJ.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is. Mm-hmm. I don't blame you.
Yeah. MMA.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know are into it, and I'm just like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
It exists.
Right.
It's kind of like the WWE with 1990s dudes.
Okay. So, I didn't even want to go into this yet.
It's like my favorite thing today that I've discovered.
Okay. Okay. So, you know what I did 2 weeks ago?
What'd you do 2 weeks ago?
It was like a fucking Monday night, and I was like...
Was this when you lacerated yourself in your own body?
Nope. Did not do that 2 weeks ago. Did that a little while ago. So I was sitting there and I was watching TV and I was like, man, there's nothing really good on. I haven't really seen anything new. I'm caught up on all the shows and series I'm kind of watching now. And so I was kind of browsing Hulu and I found WWE. What is it? Raw Monday or
Nice.
Monday Raw or
Nice.
Monday Night Raw or whatever it is.
Is it all the old episodes?
No. Yeah. Well, I think they're recent, and maybe it goes back to older episodes. But I like what I spent. I don't know. I forget how long these episodes are. Like an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
I spent like an hour.
So, like my mom was not about the WWE, the WWF.
Sure.
I was not allowed to watch this nonsense, but I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And like when I was in like high school and delving into college, like I knew who some of the guys were, like
Right.
Stone Cold and The Rock, obviously, and John Cena. Randy Orton. Like, I know who they are. I think it's kind of cool. I know it's a smoke show, but it's entertaining. It does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But some of the old stuff, the Hulk Hogan era, dude.
No, like even like before him, like the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
There's some
Woo!
wild stories about this guy. Like there was I watched the 30 for 30 documentary on him.
You should listen to the Joe Rogan with Hulk Hogan. It's one of the best podcasts I've ever heard with Rogan.
I'll have to check it out.
With Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Ric Flair was like, I guess this is like young. He was just starting to make it as a wrestler. He was just starting to wear the robes that he wore all the time. Yeah. Reminder, Liquid Death. If you're looking for a veteran podcast to sponsor Ric Flair. So I guess he like was starting to make it, and like that's when the fame started to be part of his identity. And he started wearing the robes, and he went to like some party, and was like, "Whoa!" and like opens his robe and was like stark naked, and was like, "I'm Nature Boy, everybody!"
That's fun.
And people were like, they didn't know him. They didn't know his like deal, and that like that's like Ric Flair is like that's who like he is as a person. Is I mean, obviously I don't know the dude, right? But
from everything I've heard, he's still the same.
Yeah. Like it's
still the same,
right? It's not like a stage thing.
No,
like
that's him.
He is that dude.
Yeah.
And so like people are like, ew, what is this guy's problem? And like, yeah, they had no idea.
It's my favorite.
What they were getting into with this fucking guy, So we definitely gotta, talk about some good wrestling stuff. I watched some of it growing up, not like a lot. I was kind of the same deal, like, if I had it on, my dad would be like, hey boy, turn that shit off or whatever, same deal. Like I knew the big wrestlers. I really liked Kurt Angle a lot because I knew his technical proficiency and like different techniques and stuff was really high. Yeah. And I think he's still considered like one of the more technical wrestlers from WWE, which is interesting because
it's not technical at all.
Right, it's not technical, right?
I know it's all hard work. Like they get injured bad.
Right.
But as far as being competitive sport, I don't know.
No, for sure. But I will say though, like when you do see like the Olympic dudes, the Olympic wrestling guys,
the Greco guys.
Yeah, when you see those guys in the WWE, like I see a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Not like, because this isn't, WWE isn't like a high level competition sport maybe.
It's entertainment.
Right, it's entertainment. But even I feel like I can see some differences in those guys. But yeah, ultimately like they're not there to show you like the best way to fucking overextend an arm or disable a knee or hit a confrontal or any of those things, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody's getting triangled.
No.
Right? Like
nobody's hitting arm over here.
Yeah, you're not getting Ezekiel
You
choke.
just want big souffles, big throws.
Right.
Yeah, big takedowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. But it was fun to kind of go back and watch. I'm like, man, what is
I love the old WWE stuff.
Yeah,
it's
the
so
old
much
shit's
fun.
cool too.
Yeah, just the production of it. I mean, I haven't watched it recently. I don't know if it's still the same. I don't like.
It
I wouldn't even know
is.
any of the characters. I wouldn't
You'd
know
be
anybody.
surprised because The Rock was there. He was in it. He wasn't wrestling. He was like, it was him. And so the big name right now is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, okay.
And so like I guess him and Roman Reigns, there's some kind of storyline going on where they're like distant relatives or something.
Is Ronda Rousey still in the WWE?
No. So
where'd that go?
Okay, so this is an interesting
Why do you
topic.
know more about this than I do?
Because there's a lot of people that think that Ronda Rousey was put into an early MMA, UFC retirement because of
By Holly Holmes.
Right? And listen,
I watched that fight.
Yeah, me too.
I watched that fight.
Right. And not only did I watch that fight, I've seen quite a bit of content coverage of Holly Holmes, and she is scary, bro.
I agree.
Like she scares the hell out of me. But she's beautiful too, which is crazy to me. I mean, you look at her and you're like, okay, yeah, you're kind of a tough lady, but considering like how badass she is, she's a pretty lady.
Yeah, I would.
Not to make this weird or anything, but yeah, you're evil dog.
Dr. Evil Dog.
So yeah, now that Holly Holmes is talking about leaving or retiring from the UFC, which I'm not sure which it is, but I think like retirement's coming up or she's possibly not fighting again, and so there was some conversation. And Dana White, if asked, I'm sure he would say none of the fighters are his favorite or whatever.
Right.
But I do feel like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor are his favorite fighters that have worked for him.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if it was just kind of, and a lot of people wondered if it was just a matter of time until Holly Holmes left and then Ronda Rousey came back. So that's where this is kind of going. Is Holly Holmes is supposedly my understanding is she's leaving, right, the UFC, and so if she's leaving the UFC, then that opens up a shot for Ronda Rousey to be a contender again, supposedly. So that's the big thing. There's a lot of people that said that if Ronda Rousey couldn't defeat or if she lost against Holly Holmes, then she would probably leave UFC, which she did, and then she was in WWE.
I saw Holly Holmes beat that ass.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was not a good comeback.
No, and and I get it. Like I compete in jiu-jitsu, and not that that's the same as like an MMA fight.
It's in the vein.
It is in the vein, right? And I can tell you, like her interview after that fight, it was nothing but excuses. And as a guy who's fought in competitions and has not fucking won them, has not even podiumed, I think part of this is not making an excuse for it, and just kind of saying, hey, like I showed up that day, I didn't train enough, I wasn't in the right shape or whatever. But she was talking about she fell downstairs right before the fight. Then she was talking about she just wasn't like cognitively there for the fight.
Well, that's like, so, okay. Let me change the topic just slightly.
Sure.
With Conor McGregor, I know that like a lot of people either love or hate Conor McGregor, and most of that is based on how he acts outside of his fights, where he's very boisterous and very full of himself.
Right.
And on one leg, like if you can back it up, go for it. And he can, or he could. But at the same time, I really respect him like a lot more humble. And it comes down to like was the extreme ownership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jocko.
Yeah, Jocko. Like, I put in the work. I trained hard for this. I wanted it.
Right.
Good luck to the other person.
Right.
And you stop talking about it and just work. But I like Conor McGregor. I don't like him, because of his attitude and his character and charisma, but I like him because of his work ethic.
Yeah.
And obviously he works because he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
Hopefully he comes back from that snap leg.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was pretty wild. Yeah, I don't know. I agree. Like, I think that, and Conor McGregor has been quoted in saying this, that styles win fights,
mm-hmm.
And so, I know a lot of that stuff, and there's part of it that's an act, I'm sure, but some of it is, some of these guys are more authentic than others,
mm-hmm.
and, yeah, I don't know. I think, and I've talked about this before, but I've talked about how some fighters, and especially, I'll just preface this by saying, like, specifically UFC, it does seem, or the MMA world, it does seem that once these fighters, they win a title or they have a belt, it's like things change,
mm-hmm.
They get sponsored and money starts coming in and
they get distracted.
And I also think that maybe that kind of diminishes the dog that's in them to fight, So I think it's just one of those things as a fighter, it's hard to manage like the success and fame that you get once you do start winning. And then once you do hit that level is keeping it, maintaining
mm-hmm.
it, But I will say, like, I do know Ronda Rousey, she's a black belt judoku. So, judo for, I don't even know how long, at least 10 to 15 years, judo, black belt, that's how long it takes, I think. I'm pretty sure it's pretty similar to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And her throws are nasty.
Mm-hmm.
They are, But I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where she was distracted and Holly Holmes just kind of came in and whooped that ass.
Well, I'm sure because you've participated in several fights, and I've been in athletics before, and I've played football games, and I've been in wrestling matches, and like it doesn't take much to get in your head, and if you're in your head, you're not in your match,
right?
So,
yeah, I'm interested to kind of see where this goes, but that was a great question because I'm like, we could definitely talk about this. So,
talking about things that I know nothing about really. I watch it, I know it exists, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a Rogan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like. So I think Rogan is different though because like he started with Dana White in the UFC when it was so young,
mm-hmm.
And so like he's been part of the evolution of that sport, and he's seen so many different fighting styles I think come and go, and like even now there's still a lot about MMA I just don't know about the UFC. I just don't know, But like seeing some of these different fighting styles is just and really I think that's what makes the MMA great. Is it is a bunch of different fighting styles. Where else are you going to see a kickboxer fight like a boxer?
Yeah.
Or are you going to see a BJJ guy fight against like a stand-up martial artist?
It's really a brilliant move by Dana White bringing that out.
Yeah.
Getting away from, because I remember when I was growing up it was boxing.
Right.
And then there was kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's what you got to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's, and I've thought about this a lot too, because, as somebody who's almost 40, I'm just like,
I'm like, shut up.
I'm like, man,
you got to remind me. God.
I'm like, I really wish, I had maybe started something MMA related when I was younger.
Dude, the number of regrets I have about like, why didn't I start lifting weights in high school? Why did I just be like, no, I don't need to. Yeah. Can you imagine me if I started lifting weights in high school and I like kept that on?
Yeah.
Monster.
Yeah.
It'd be scary. I scare myself.
It looked like Brock Lesnar with a beard. Yeah. Can we talk about what a monster that fucking guy is?
Dude, those are my favorite guys. They're just like, you're not human.
Right.
Dudes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like a fucking sword with brass knuckles tattooed on his chest.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, can you imagine opposite corner from that dude just looking up like, no.
No, fuck that. Because like I've had something similar happen and the guy was only 3 inches taller than me. So I can't imagine
so
somebody
who's 5'3".
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't.
I got him. Where's the Dave Chappelle? Gotcha, bitch.
I think, on the camera, we probably look the same size, though.
Only because I'm sitting down.
It's because you're holding a 5 pound.
Because I'm holding a 5 pound dog.
He's actually 20 pounds. You just make him look small.
There's no way this dog is 20 pounds. No way you're 20 pounds.
Oh, man. Awesome. Cool. Is there...
I think that's a good number one.
Yeah.
Kind of let you know how it's going to go. Perhaps we'll do research on other topics and we'll know more things and not just say our opinions. And
yeah. No. We're both just so excited for this, and
I am too.
And I think, we have different avenues and aspects of the show that we're kind of dealing and handling with, but we're both, I think, just constantly storyboarding like things in our mind and talking about, hey, was this a good idea? What about this content? What about that content? And as soon as we hit the stop recording button over here, like that's it. You and I are officially content creators. Yeah, that is pretty weird.
I wouldn't say we've made it, but
nah,
we need to get like one view.
One view, but what about a Liquid Death sponsor?
Liquid Death sponsorship. What are we calling sponsorships? Like they send us product.
Yeah.
I just want a fridge full of Liquid Death because
yeah. Well, what about a Liquid Death fridge? We could put it right here.
That'd be great. Set our Liquid Death on top of it.
That would be great.
It's you don't drink. I don't drink that much. So there's a lot of podcasts out there where they're sipping whiskey and doing the guy thing and smoking their cigars. Neither of us are going to do that. We're going to be drinking the spicy waters, and that's about it.
Right.
So
yeah,
Liquid Death
once again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
till the next time.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking us out, and
hopefully you like and share, subscribe, all the things.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe.
We'll be on YouTube and on Instagram at Chief and Tatanka Show.
That's right. Yep. Comment. Be engaged in our socials.
We'll answer back. We're not those guys that put out content and then disappear and you never get to talk to us.
Yeah, because
back.
Right.
As long as you're not spamming us, that's rude.
Yeah. Don't spam us. But also, if we do end up growing pretty substantially, then I think we'll still engage people in our social. We might have to hire some people to do it for us, but we'll still engage.
Well, one of the things that we talked about on the phone the other day, I think neither of us have any expectation of what this is or what this could be. We just both want to bullshit and have fun.
Yeah.
So we'll always respond.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking us out, and follow us, and you'll see us soon.